Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to my channel, Chronicles of Hoodoo. I am Renee Michelle. This is Spiritual Awareness 20, an extension from Spiritual Awareness that was on my old channel, Chronicles of a Hoodoo Spiritualist. What I'm talking about today, what Spiritual Awareness is about today, is about what do you do, right? When you know your partner is abused, right? But they're very abusive. And you want to help them get themselves together, right? But they still can't. Right? They try therapy, everything else to get over their abuse so they don't abuse you. So what is the moment where we say, oh, we have to let go? Oh, we have to be done, right? Because you can be empathetic and sympathetic for a long, long time. But still, and all in all, you're being abused. So how long do you stay when you know that you've been abused, they've been abused, they're trying to clear this energy and get over the past, but they're not able to do so? It's like, at what point do you say, my self-esteem and self-worth is worth more than this relationship and worth more than this person? And so let's tap into God, the spirit angels, spirit guides and all that, and let's see what's actually going on with that. So it's what do you do? So what's going on beneath the surface is standing your ground, right? So under the surface of the situation, it comes to a point where you have to stand your ground with the situation at hand. You have to stand your ground as far as what abuse is doing to you, right? This is something that has been happening your whole life. And though you're empathetic and sympathetic to your partner in his abusive or her abusive ways, it comes to a point where you have to stand your ground for self. Stand your ground for your self-esteem and self-worth. Stand your ground for your soul, for your essence, for who you are. Right? So the first card in this spread is the primary concern or question. So the primary concern or question is, what do we do? Right? But it leads to a severe anxiety, right? The main concern is that you're constantly anxious. You're constantly nervous because you're waiting, right? You're waiting for the next moment where they abuse you, where the abuse comes. So there's never a moment of peace and understanding and relaxation. There's a constant need to be on edge and set and on guard. You can't relax. You can't sleep all the way because you know that at any moment and at any time the mouth can start, or they can hit you, right? Or they can do something to you that you don't like. So there's a constant anxiety. There's a constant need to keep a track and understand where they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, who they're with, because you have to be ready. Right? The motivating reason for seeking guidance is devastation. Right? And the need to start over, because I have the Ten of Spades. So it's a need to start over. It's a need to start over in a new way, in a new direction, in a new time, in a new way. Right? And it can be with them, but they have tried, or they say they have tried for a certain amount of time. And if you're with someone 10 years and they still abusive, you know that you can't keep going on. But what it is that it's hard, right? It's hard because it's constantly this stab in the back. It's constantly this constant getting hurt over and over again, right? But the Ten of Spades, on the other hand, is about starting anew, right? It's about leaving the past behind, leaving the hurt behind, and being able to move on from that devastation. And if you can't do that, then what do you do? right? The third card represents, right, areas of concern and anxiety. New love, right? So when you have new love, right? The reason why it's so concerning about new love is that when you have new love and you go into a new love relationship, it's like, when do I do it? Like, am I going to end up with the same person? It's going to be the same situation. The anxiety about falling in love after an abusive relationship is so severe that you can't move. You can't go into a new relationship. Most people spend many years alone because, like, look, the last relationship I was in was so bad that I don't even want to look at another person. I don't even want to look at another man. I don't want to look at another female. It's just the way it is. I can't do it. It's too much. So the fourth card, I'm sorry, what you are unaware of in the present. What you are unaware of in the present is that you should move on. I have the Six of Spades. It's time for you to move on. You take your children and go. You take your children and go and move on to something else and something better. Right? Because as you are taking this abuse and you have children and family in the home, they're being abused too. They're watching the abuse. It's affecting their emotions, it's affecting their body, their self-esteem and self-worth. They're also being taught on how they should be treated. Your sons are being taught how a man should treat a woman, and your daughters are being taught how a woman should be treated by a man, or a woman should be treated by their partner, or a man should be treated by a partner. These are lessons being learned by just watching. So if you are arguing and being abused and being hit in front of your child, then that child is learning that this is what relationships are and what they're about. And if you're not at the level of self-esteem and self-worth where you can explain to your child that this is not all there is, you have a situation now where you need to move on, because now you're abusing your children. From the moment you stay, you always have that in mind. From the moment that you stay with someone that is abusive towards you, and you have children, or you have children, it's a hard thing for you to move on. But as for you that are single and without children, it is easier. But the main concern is that you need to move on from the situation. The fifth card expresses to us, right? The best course of action or advice, right? The best course of action is to proceed, right? I have the Jack of Spades. So this is an air sign. This is usually the beginning of knowledge, the beginning of growth, the beginning of understanding of what you want for yourself, what you want for your environment, and if you have children, what you want for your kids. Right? It's beginning to expand your knowledge on what you can do about your abuse and how to get rid of it and how to get out of it. You really need to research what therapy that you can go into, right? To expand your mind to know that, look, I got to do better for myself, my soul, my spirit, and my family. It's about having the knowledge. It's the beginning stages of your mind growing and saying, look, I cannot do this anymore, so let me figure out a way. Let me educate myself on a way to move on and move past this situation and move on to something new. It's a growth process that you need to have and need at this time in your life, where you need to start looking around at what you have and what you want for the future. So it's the beginning stages of your mind changing from, I have to accept this because I understand their past, to I no longer can accept this, and how can I expand my future. So the sixth card is the best way to proceed to use advice, right? It's to be sad, to cry about it. One of the things that we don't do much is cry. We have to cry it out, right? And one of the things that you must first know about yourself is that you're holding a lot of emotion, right? You're abused. So you're holding this emotion and you don't understand why I can't cry. You just need to cry, right? Because when you cry, it's like, oh, they win, right? My abuser wins when I cry, right? Because they feel like they've gotten into me. They pressed the nerve that they're ready, right? To say, oh, I got that button. I'm going to press that button every chance that I get, right? So we hold back these tears, right? Because we're not going to let them know that they affect us. We're not going to let them know that they hurt our feelings, that they hurt our soul, that they hurt our minds, that they hurt our bodies, that they hurt everything, right? So when it comes to this time where you want to expand your mind to say, you know what, it's time for me to move on, one of the first things that you have to do is cry it out. You have to release this emotion. You have to release all this emotional overburdenness. You have to cry. You have to be sad and be okay with the fact, right, that you have to move on from somebody that you love but that hurts you. So the seventh card, guidance on how to proceed in the future, right? Oh, pursue towards happiness. It's a Ten of Hearts, right? The Ten of Hearts is about a relationship, right? One of my decks that I'm seeing in my head is about a relationship that looks perfect on the outside, but on the inside, it's rotten. So you have to know that as you move forward in this, right, in this quest for happiness and love, that you lose that as your primary motivation, right? Right? That I know that I can achieve this happiness, right? That I can know that I can achieve happiness on the inside as well as the outside as far as a relationship is concerned. You have to have a positive attitude. You have to have a positive way of thinking. You have to have a positive way of growing towards something that you desire or want or need, which is a good relationship with someone that treats you well and doesn't abuse you. The 8th card, right, is the expected results, right, and guidance for the future, right? I have the 6 of clubs, that you'll be victorious. After a long war, after a long fight, after a long battle, you'll be victorious in what you do, right? You'll be victorious as finding your happiness and your peace. You'll be able to sleep at night. You'll be able to rest. You won't be looking over your shoulder all the time. You won't be ready for something, right? You're victorious at freeing yourself from constantly being beat on emotionally, verbally, spiritually, physically, and sexually. All right, guys, till next time, you know I love you, and peace.